The sky over Earth was calm, but far beyond the blue, danger was coming. Admiral Valen of the Zelthor Dominion looked at the holographic map before him. His fleet of 100 warships was ready. In his mind, this was no war. It was a clean sweep. Earth was just another primitive world. The humans did not even have faster-than-light travel. Set course for Sector 9, he said to his second-in-command. End this quickly. We do not waste time on insects. On Earth, Captain Daniel Price was walking through the control deck of the EU's Valor, a small defense ship stationed near Mars. His boots echoed on the metal floor as he read the latest reports. Most of them were boring, as usual. Communications, traffic, weather patterns, nothing special. Lieutenant Maria Collins looked up from her station. Captain, I'm picking up something strange. A signal. It's not ours. Daniel frowned. Let me hear it. The sound that came from the speakers was sharp and cold. A language no human had heard before. Run it through translation, Daniel ordered. It's not working, Maria said. The structure is too advanced, and Captain, the signal is strong. Whatever it is, it's close. Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. Alert Earth Command. Back on Earth, the leaders laughed. The president of the World Union waved his hand as if brushing away dust. Aliens, please. This is probably just a glitch. Stop wasting my time with fairy tales. 3 days later, the first cities vanished. The Zelthar fleet arrived in orbit. Like a storm of fire. Bright beams of energy struck down, and the skies over Paris and Tokyo turned red. Satellites burned. Communication networks fell silent. On the Valor, Maria covered her mouth as she watched the live feed. They're wiping us out. Daniel's jaw tightened. Get me all remaining ships. Tell every captain we're not going down without a fight. Ships gathered above Earth like moths around a flame. There were only 50 of them, small and underarmed, against 100 enemy warships. But the humans had no choice. They'll crush us in minutes, said Commander Alex Carter over the comms. Daniel shook his head. Then let's make those minutes count. When the battle began, it was chaos. Alien beams tore through human hulls. One ship after another exploded in blinding flashes. But then something strange happened. A human frigate, the UES Falcon, rammed a Zelthor destroyer head-on. The alien ship cracked and split apart. They're not invincible, Maria whispered. Target. Their weak points, Daniel ordered. Focus fire on the engines. Human ships began moving faster, dodging beams, striking back. They used every trick hiding in debris fields, launching missiles from unexpected angles, even turning wrecked ships into weapons. Admiral Valen watched the fight from his flagship with growing anger. They're adapting faster than they should. By the end of the day, 10 Zelthor ships had been destroyed. For the first time in centuries, the Dominion had suffered real losses. On the Valar's bridge, the crew cheered as another alien ship exploded in the distance. But Daniel did not smile. He looked at the burning earth below and knew this was only the beginning. They'll send more, he said quietly. This was just the first wave. Maria turned to him. Then we have to get smarter. If they want to crush us, we'll show them what humans can do. The air on the UES Valor was tense. The crew had survived their first battle, but the cost was heavy. Half of Earth's cities were gone. Millions were dead. Daniel Price stood at the main screen, watching the enemy ships regroup in orbit. The Zelthar fleet had pulled back for repairs. But everyone knew they would return. We heard them, Maria Collins said quietly. She was sitting at her console, her fingers running over damaged controls. But not enough. Daniel turned to her. How many ships do we have left? 23, Maria replied. And most of them are damaged. Some can't even fire. Daniel sighed. That's not a fleet. That's a funeral line. Commander Alex Carter's voice came through the comms. Captain, I have an idea. It's risky, but it might give us a fighting chance. Go ahead, Daniel said. We lure them into the asteroid belt. Use it as a trap. We set off chain reactions in the rocks, turn the whole field into one big minefield. Maria frowned. That could destroy us too. Or it could destroy them, Alex replied. We're outnumbered. We have to fight dirty. Daniel nodded slowly. Prepare the fleet. We'll take the fight to them. The human ships limped toward the asteroid belt. Engineers worked day and night to load the last of their nuclear warheads into the largest asteroids. Drones planted. Charges deep inside the rocks. Will it be enough? Maria asked as she watched the crew's frantic work. It has to be, Daniel said. If we don't stop them here, Earth is finished. The Zelthor fleet arrived 3 days later. Admiral Valen sat in his command chair, his face calm but his mind uneasy. These humans were different. They did not surrender. They adapted. They fought like animals with their backs to the wall. Advance, he ordered. Crush their resistance. The alien warships entered the asteroid field, their beams cutting through the drifting rocks. At first, it seemed easy. The humans were in retreat, firing wildly as they fled deeper into the belt. Stay with them, Valen said. Do not let even one escape. Then the trap was sprung. Explosions ripped through the asteroid field. Entire rocks shattered, sending massive chunks spinning into the alien fleet. Nuclear warheads detonated one after another, tearing holes. In the Zelthor lines, multiple ships down, an alien officer shouted, We're taking heavy damage. On the Valar, Maria gripped her seat. We're getting them. Keep firing, Daniel ordered. Don't give them time to recover. The human ships turned back and charged. Lasers and missiles struck the enemy ships as rocks smashed into their hulls. The Zelthar fleet tried to regroup, but the chaos of the asteroid field made their formations useless. Admiral Valen watched in shock as more of his ships exploded. This isn't possible, he muttered. They're primitives. They shouldn't be able to do this. In the end, 30 Zelthor warships were destroyed. The rest pulled back, limping out of the asteroid belt. Cheers erupted on the Valar's bridge. Maria smiled for the first time in days. We did it. Daniel did not join her. His eyes stayed. On the tactical screen, they'll be back, and next time they won't underestimate us. Valen's voice echoed across the Dominion fleet. These humans have teeth. We will crush them completely. Send for reinforcements. I want every ship we can spare. Earth will burn. The fleet was quiet. The survivors of Earth's defense forces drifted in orbit, battered and bruised. Even after their victory in the asteroid belt, there was no time to celebrate. The Zelthor would come again, and next time they would not be careless. Captain Daniel Price stared at the cracked hull of the EU's Valor. His engineers worked without rest, patching holes and rewiring circuits. Supplies were low. Ammunition was scarce. How long until we can move? Daniel asked. 3 days, said Chief Engineer Henry Adams. That's the best I can give you. Any faster, and she'll fall apart in space. Daniel nodded. Do what you can. Maria Collins walked in, holding a datapad. Her face was pale. We intercepted enemy transmissions. The Zelthor reinforcements are on the way. Hundreds of ships, maybe thousands. Daniel clenched his fists. We won't survive another fight like that. Not here. Then we don't fight here, Maria said. We take the fight to them. Daniel looked at her in surprise. Are you suggesting we attack their space? They won't expect it, Maria said. It's risky, but if we can take out their command ship, maybe the rest will fall apart. Commander Alex Carter joined the discussion through the comms. She's right. We captured some of their tech after the battle. Dr. Laura Bennett and her team are already working on ways to use it. We might be able to slip past their defenses. Daniel thought about it. A strike deep into enemy territory with a handful of broken ships. You realize how insane that sounds. It's the only chance we have, Maria said. Daniel stared at the stars for a long moment. Finally, he gave a single nod. Then let's do it. The plan was simple and desperate. They would use the stolen alien cloaking technology to hide. Their ships, a small fleet, would jump into Zelthor space, find the flagship, and destroy it. If they failed, Earth would be defenseless. 3 days later, the fleet was ready. Only 15 ships remained. The others were too damaged to fly or had been lost in the last battle. The crews were tired, but their eyes burned with determination. We all know the risk, Daniel said over the comms. But if we succeed, we give Earth a chance. If we fail, we die as warriors. Either way, we make them remember humanity. The ships jumped into enemy space. For hours, they drifted silently, hiding in asteroid shadows and gas clouds. Maria monitored the scanners, her heart pounding every time a Zelthor patrol passed near them. We're ghosts out here, she whispered. Finally, they saw it. The Zelthor flagship, a massive ship larger than any human city, glowing with alien energy. That's it, Alex said. That's their heart. Daniel stared at the monstrous ship. Then let's cut it out. The fleet split into 2 groups. One would create a diversion. The other, led by the Valar, would sneak close and plant nuclear charges along the flagship's hull. The diversion worked at first. The Zelthar turned their attention to the human ships firing wildly at the edges of the system. But then an alarm rang out on the Valar. They've detected us, Maria said. The cloak failed. Push forward, Daniel shouted. All power to engines. Get us in range. Alien beams shot past them, tearing apart one human ship after another. The explosion tore through space like a blinding star. The Zelthor flagship cracked apart, its armored plates splitting as fire and debris spewed in all directions. Smaller alien ships were pulled into the shockwave, their hulls shredded as they were dragged into the chaos. On board the Use Valar, Maria Collins gripped the edge of her console as the ship shook violently. The crew cheered when they saw the enemy flagship breaking apart, but Maria did not smile. Her eyes stayed fixed on the screen, searching for any sign of Daniel Price. Did he make it? One officer asked quietly. Maria shook her head. There's no signal. He's gone. The celebration faded into silence. The loss of their captain hung heavy over the crew, but they had no time to mourn. The Zelthor fleet was in disarray. Without their flagship to command them, the alien ships drifted, firing blindly in all directions. Open fire on their support ships, Maria ordered. Her voice was steady, but her hands trembled slightly. We finish what we started. The human fleet struck like a hammer. They targeted fuel depots and command frigates, cutting off the alien fleet's ability to regroup. One by one, the massive warships exploded under concentrated fire. Admiral Valen watched the destruction from his personal shuttle. His once proud fleet was burning around him. Sparks rained down inside the shuttle as he recorded a final log. They had no chance. 100 of our ships for every one of theirs. We laughed at their weapons. We mocked their ships. But these humans, they are something else. They are relentless. They are clever. And now they have destroyed us. His words broke into static as a human missile struck the shuttle. It disintegrated in an instant. Back on the Valar, Maria lowered her head. The enemy admiral is dead. The fleet is breaking apart. They're retreating. Do we pursue them? Asked the helmsman. Maria thought for a moment. No, we've done enough here. Set course for Earth. The survivors deserve to go home. The battered human fleet turned and began the long journey back. Of the 15 ships that had entered enemy space, only 7 remained. Their hulls were scarred and their systems barely held together, but they carried with them the first true victory humanity had won in this war. During the voyage, Maria spent her nights alone in the captain's quarters. She stared at the stars, wondering if Daniel's sacrifice had been worth it. She remembered his last words to her and felt a deep ache in her chest. 3 weeks later, the fleet arrived at Earth. What they saw made their hearts sink. Earth's surface was scarred. Cities lay in ruins. The oceans were choked with debris. But small groups of survivors had gathered in hidden shelters. They came out as the human ships descended, waving and cheering weakly as they saw their defenders return. Maria stood at the front of the docking ramp as she stepped onto Earth's soil. The people looked at her with awe and relief. She raised her voice so all could hear. We survived, we fought back, and we showed them that humans will never bow. Cheers spread through the crowd. For the first time in months, hope burned in their eyes that night as fires burned in the wreckage of old cities. Maria spoke to the fleet commanders. We've dealt them a heavy blow, she said. But don't think this is over. The Zelthor will regroup. They'll send more ships, bigger fleets. They'll come to erase us from the stars. What do we do? Asked Commander Patel. Maria looked at him with steel in her eyes. We rebuild. We grow stronger. And the next time they come, we'll be ready. In the distance, Earth's engineers were already working on captured alien technology. New weapons and ships were taking shape in secret hangars. The survivors of humanity had tasted victory, and they would not stop now. The story of Daniel Price spread like wildfire. Across the galaxy, alien races heard the tale of the humans who destroyed a fleet 100 times their size. Some laughed at first, others trembled, and in the shadows, smaller alien civilizations began to whisper, if the humans can fight the Zelthor, maybe we can too. The spark of rebellion had been lit, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again. Asterisk, the fires on Earth had cooled, but the scars of war remained. Buildings stood as broken skeletons. Streets were empty except for the rubble left behind. Yet in the silence, there was life. Survivors worked together to rebuild homes and grow food. Children ran through ruined parks as if the war had never happened. On the EU's Valor, Maria Collins stood on the bridge. She had been given command of the fleet after Daniel Price's sacrifice. His name was now spoken with respect on every continent. People called him the man who lit the fire of hope. Maria looked at the crew. They were different now, hardened, focused. The fear that once haunted them had been replaced by determination. "Status report," she said. "We've completed upgrades." "On 3 ships," reported Chief Engineer Henry Adams. "The new weapons systems are ready, and the first of the human-built warships using alien tech will launch tomorrow." "Good," Maria said. "What about the rest of the galaxy?" Lieutenant Sarah Blake turned from her console. "The Zelthor are losing their grip. Since their flagship was destroyed, their colonies have started rebelling. Other alien races are rising up." Maria nodded. "This is our chance. If we wait, they'll recover and come back stronger. We need to finish this war now." The fleet set out once more. This time, it wasn't just to defend Earth. It was to lead an assault deep into Zelthar territory. Weeks passed as they crossed empty space. Along the way, more ships joined them. Small freighters and stolen alien craft manned by volunteers. Word of humanity's defiance had spread, and alien rebels rallied to their side. By the time they reached the Zelthor home system, they were no longer a fleet of survivors. They were an army. Maria stood before them on the main screen. "We have come far," she said. "We were outnumbered. We were outgunned. But we are still here. And today, we end this war." The battle for the Zelthar homeworld began. Alien ships poured out of orbit, a storm of energy beams and missiles. But humanity and its allies fought with a fury that shocked even their enemies. Human pilots wove between enemy ships, firing with deadly precision. Rebel forces struck from all sides, crippling the Zelthar's defenses. Maria's voice rang through the comms as she directed the assault. "Target their command stations. Cut off their reinforcements. Push forward." On the ground, squads of human and alien soldiers stormed Zelthor cities. Explosions shook the streets as civilians fled and soldiers fought to hold their positions. At last, the human fleet broke through the defensive line and encircled the planet. On the EU's valor, Maria gave her final order, broadcast to all Zelthor forces: "Surrender now or be destroyed." There was silence. Then a single message came through: "We surrender." The war was over. Maria stood on the surface of the Zelthor homeworld. The air smelled strange, heavy with alien scents, but she breathed it deeply. Around her, human flags flew alongside the banners of freed alien nations. A Zelthar leader knelt before her. "You have won," he said. "We underestimated your people." Maria looked him in the eyes. Never underestimate humanity. Months later, Earth had changed. The cities were rebuilt. The new fleet patrolled the stars. Humanity was no longer seen as weak or primitive. They were leaders of a growing alliance, children. In Alien Worlds, learned the story of Daniel Price, the man who gave his life to destroy the enemy's flagship. His words had become a motto for all free people. We fight not because we want war, but because we refuse to kneel. Maria watched the first human-built star dreadnought rise into orbit. It was a symbol of Earth's new place in the galaxy. "They thought we were fragile," she said softly. "Now they know the truth." The galaxy had changed. Where the Zelthar dominion once ruled without challenge, there was now only silence and ruin. Their warships drifted in space like broken bones, and their cities lay empty. On Earth, people were rebuilding faster than ever. The scars of war were still visible, but a new energy filled the streets. Massive starports rose over the oceans. Factories built new ships that were faster and stronger than anything before. Humanity was preparing for a future when no one could threaten them again. On the EU's Valor, Captain Maria Collins stood on the bridge, looking at a holographic map of the galaxy. Hundreds of stars blinked red, showing worlds still in conflict. The fall of the Zelthor had not brought peace. Instead, old rivalries between alien empires had reignited. "We're receiving another call for help," Lieutenant Sarah Blake reported. "It's from the Kalari sector. 2 factions are fighting over control of an old Dominion weapons depot. Civilians are trapped." Maria sighed. "Send word to our fleet. We move at once." The Valar led a squadron of human ships into the sector. When they arrived, they saw the 2 alien fleets exchanging fire above a dusty planet. Wreckage floated everywhere. Maria opened a channel. "This is Captain Collins of the United Earth Fleet. Cease fire and withdraw. Any attack on civilians will be answered with force." One of the alien commanders responded. His voice was sharp and filled with contempt. "Humans think they are rulers of the galaxy now. You are nothing but upstart children." Maria's face hardened. "Last chance. Stand down." The alien fleets turned their guns on the Valar. "Prepare for combat," Maria said calmly. The fight was swift. Human ships used tactics learned in the war against the Zelthor. They moved in perfect coordination, disabling enemy weapons and engines without destroying the ships. Within an hour, the alien fleets were forced to retreat. Rescue crews were sent to the surface. Survivors from the planet looked up in awe as human marines helped them into shuttles. "They're protecting us," an old Kalari woman whispered. "I thought humans were violent, but maybe they're different." Later, Maria walked through the ruined depot. She found crates filled with Zelthor weapons. "Another reminder of the past," she muttered. "These weapons caused enough pain. They'll cause no more." The crates were destroyed with controlled charges as the fleet prepared to leave. Maria received a message from Earth Command. "Captain Collins, there is unrest across the galaxy. Small factions are rising to fill the void the Zelthor left behind. Some see us as protectors. Others see us as invaders. You are authorized to take all necessary action to secure peace." Maria knew what that meant. Humanity was no longer just defending itself. It was now responsible for an entire galaxy. That night, Maria stood alone in her quarters. She looked out at the stars, thinking about the journey that had brought her here. She remembered Daniel Price, his calm voice and determined eyes. He would have hated this, she said quietly. He fought for Earth, not for power. But there was no turning back. Humanity had stepped into a role that would shape the future of countless worlds. When the Valar jumped back into hyperspace, its engines glowed like a torch in the darkness. Across the galaxy, people spoke in whispers. "The humans are coming." To some, it was a warning. To others, it was a promise. The galaxy was restless. Even after the fall of the Zelthor Dominion, the stars were not at peace. Small wars burned like sparks in the dark. Old grudges between alien factions flared into battles. Some worlds cheered at the sight of human ships. Others feared them. On board the EU's Valor, Captain Maria Collins read the latest reports. Civilian transports had been raided near the rim. A minor warlord had claimed 3 systems and declared himself the new ruler of the sector. "They're testing us," Maria said. "They want to see if we'll respond." Lieutenant Sarah Blake looked uneasy. "What if we don't? Maybe it's not our fight." Maria shook her head. "If we let chaos spread, It will reach Earth one day. We can't risk that. The Valor and its escort ships jumped into the warlord's territory. They found a fleet of stolen Zelthor ships blocking trade routes. Maria opened a channel. "This is Captain Collins of the United Earth Fleet. You are ordered to stand down and return stolen property." A deep, mocking voice answered, "You. Humans think you are masters now, but you are still flesh and bone. We will tear your ships apart and sell your people as slaves." "Then you've made your choice," Maria replied coldly. The battle began. The enemy fleet fired first, launching waves of missiles and plasma bolts. But the humans had learned from the Zelthor War. They moved as one, dodging attacks and striking. With precision, the Valar cut through the enemy line, its railguns punching holes in stolen alien hulls. Smaller human frigates swarmed the enemy like wolves, disabling engines and weapons before moving to the next target. Within an hour, half, the enemy fleet was destroyed. The rest tried to flee, but Maria gave the order to pursue. "Leave no ship to regroup," she said. "We end this here." By the end of the day, the warlord's fleet was gone. His base was captured, and his forces surrendered. Maria stood on the ruined station as prisoners were led away. "This is the only warning the galaxy will get," she said. "Earth will not allow tyranny to rise again." But deep in her heart, she felt uneasy. Each victory pulled humanity further into galactic politics. The United Earth Fleet was no longer just a shield. It had become a sword. That night, Maria sat alone in her quarters. She opened a small datapad and replayed an old recording of Daniel Price. "We fight because we must," his voice said. "But when the fighting ends, we need to remember who we are." Maria closed her eyes. "Are we still that?" she whispered. On distant worlds, alien leaders watched the spread of human power with growing fear. Some began to unite in secret, whispering about a time when they would strike back. But for now, the humans ruled the stars.